congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
You talked about restoring people's trust. Do you see this as a bit of a reset for the Welsh Labour Party, and what do you intend to do differently?
Well, every time there's a change in leader, there's an opportunity to reset and renew. There's a requirement. If you think about where we are within this term, we have 2 more years before the next Senate election, and at some point within the next year, either 6 or 7 weeks or maybe 6 or 7 months, there'll be a UK general election as well. So in the contest, both campaigns set out ideas for the future for that reset, but also an opportunity to look back at where we are, think about how we regain trust in this crucial year ahead and indeed the year after. It's always hard when we get into mid-term and our choices become progressively more difficult. The budget framework we have, with real terms cuts in funding every year within this term, and that's on the back of 14 very difficult years. So it's no surprise that there's a real impatience for something different. I want to see that a UK Labour government, but I also want to see what we can do here in Wales.
Now, you've said you will be the first black First Minister of any part of the UK and indeed Europe. Why is that important, and do you feel you've had to work harder for your success?
Well, it's obviously an historically different day. You know, this hasn't happened before. That isn't because other people haven't wanted to, haven't had the drive, the determination or the ability. I'm the only person that looks like me to represent a Welsh constituency in either of our national parliaments. So it shows that progress is more difficult historically. You can still see that today, whether it's health, education, the economy, a whole range of fields of activity. What I think it does show is once you're here, you've got to do the job. There are people who are ready to judge you, and you need to be able to meet that test, not just for people that look like me, but for the whole country.
Because you're under higher scrutiny.
I think there is different scrutiny, and you see that in public life. You know, it's just the reality of where you are, but you can't then say, this means that people should lay off me, because they won't.
Now, let's talk about Labour's record here, because you know as well as I do that when it comes to the general election, Rishi Sunak is going to go for Labour's record in Wales and say you've got the worst waiting lists in the UK, you've got the worst performing schools, you've wound people up with the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. Do you fear that you're writing the Tory leaflets for him?
Look, there's always an attempt to assault Wales when it comes to a Tory campaign, not to talk about all the things they have and haven't done in the last 14 years.
And you're happy to defend the record?
I'm happy to go out and defend and explain what we have done here in Wales and why actually our NHS in Wales is desperate for UK partners in government who aren't here to try to take away our money and our powers, but are here as partners in a future we can all be proud of. I think the NHS should be on the ballot paper in this election, and I look forward to taking my part and leading that campaign here in Wales.